So the question was, I have Christmas. Richard should have, the Thursday. What should it be? And schedule should be. Like if there was no Christmas next week, what would the schedule be? It'd be Thursday to
It would just be Thursday overnight and then he comes back on Friday.
what time on Friday?
7 o'clock on
So
Friday.
it's like Thursday at like noon or something like that, right?
No, Thursday would be like 6 o'clock drop off
PM
PM.
to 7 o'clock PM on Friday.
Yep.
And the question is because there's Christmas that like breaks this up. Now, like, are you under any obligation to offer compensatory or additional time? And we established that that was no, because holidays supersede vacation, vacation supersedes the regular. And so there's no obligation to offer time missed because of Christmas. But then the parenting time that would be due and owing to Richard would be, still going until 7 o'clock on Friday. So now we've got to figure out if it's your Christmas, what time does Christmas end? And as you recall from the plan, Christmas is 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. And so now it's like we've got a potential exchange at 9 o'clock at night from an hour and a half away. Maybe it's an hour because of maybe it's not as long of a drive because of
It will still be about an hour and a half because of the ferry ride.
okay, so even though there's like not traffic and whatever, it's still gonna be an hour and a half.
Yeah,
Got a
roughly.
9 o'clock at exchange, an hour and a half away, which means your time, because the person on duty is responsible for dropping off, your time actually ends at like 7 o'clock with getting ready and getting in the car and getting, all your travel stuff going to make this 9 o'clock exchange, right?
Right. Yeah.
Okay, so that's ludicrous on Christmas Day. And then it would be 9 o'clock until 7 p.m. on Friday. So, first of all, there's a long-term viability issue of the exchange times. Like there's just long-term viability of the exchange times and of like who's going off duty versus who's coming on duty and all that. Like that there's some things that you want to think about what's the most advantageous to you, given that you're doing 3 hours of commuting round trip. So like we got to consider if it's hard for you, it's hard for, somebody much young, like a child. So there's that. I would recommend that you make just like a firm proposal, like we talked about around Thanksgiving. When we had that call, I think the date of the call was November 13th. And we had that call, and it was like, if you don't have your holiday plans ironed out yet, here's what you're gonna do, right? You're gonna like make a proposal, you're gonna ask for a response within a certain amount of time. Like it's gonna go like this, and then you're gonna negotiate off that, right? And say, like, we got to get this ironed out. Your response by X date is appreciated. For you, I would pretty much do the same thing. I would be like, look, here's the deal. We have this wonky time in, and that's to be expected. There's some growing pains when you're getting an initial parenting plan for like your first ever holiday season. And this is a temporary plan because, everything's not finalized yet. So there's going to be some growing pains. So that's the conversation, right? The conversation is like, this is what I'm proposing. It's not necessarily in line with what's in the temporary order, but the temporary order doesn't seem viable or like it's going to work out for this year. And I think that's just a result of like, look, I haven't done this before. You haven't done this before. Quite frankly, your attorneys might not even be divorced. Like they maybe haven't actually lived it before, right? So this isn't going to work, right? So I would show up to the conversation in writing and be like, this is not going to work. Here's what I'm proposing instead. I'm proposing instead that if you want to do this exchange time, you pick up because it doesn't say like this is totally outside the scope of our regular whatever, and it doesn't say who's transporting. So I would propose that if you like are gonna die on this hill of this 9 p.m. on Christmas Day exchange time that you pick up, and we'll be here waiting for you. And if not, what I think makes more sense is having like a day visit the next day and resuming the regular schedule thereafter. What do you say? Let me know. And then kind of like not to the point of not abiding with a court order, but maybe dig your heels in a little bit on like not being the person driving on Christmas Day. Because
Yeah.
it doesn't say you have to. So maybe it's just like, hey, here's my proposal. Like, do you feel that strongly about having an exchange at 9 p.m. on Christmas Day? And he might come back and want to be compensated, time wise or whatever. Um, if it helps you get through the day this year, like if he says, well, no, well then I want my whole time and I want to do Friday at 6 and Saturday at whatever, till 7 or whatever. If it works for your schedule, great. Say, hey, that works for my schedule. I'm good with that, but I still need you to pick up because I wasn't planning that. Or you can say, no, it doesn't work for my schedule. And these are the options I have for you. Your time only goes till this time. You can pick up at 9 p.m. on Christmas Day yourself, or you can pick up Friday. But we have plans. Do you have plans that weekend, or would you be able to flex if there was a question about um just moving it back a day? Who wants to do 3 hours of commuting on Christmas Day? No one anywhere. So it's just kind of like, and then I can guarantee you that Richard's child does not want to get ripped away from the brand new toys and from all the fun and from whatever's happening to do an hour and a half commute. And
Yeah.
that might be part of the conversation. You don't have to make all of those concessions all the time, right?
Right.
I'm also just saying from the perspective, like I'll use myself. We do an exchange on Christmas Day, and I actually have seriously considered just like punting and just going to a straight every other year. For many, many years, it has worked for us to do I think it's a 10 a.m. exchange on Christmas Day. So it's like the 23rd to the 25th is the window. Okay. So like on the 23rd and it's confusing even for adults, like because it's an alteration to everything that happens on a regular basis. There's no school, all this. I would literally have to pull out the calendar and look. I can't even tell you offhand. Sometime on the 23rd, there is an exchange. I don't even know where my kids will be on the 23rd without looking at it. So, but I know this year, it's my ex's Christmas Eve start of the day. Okay. So sometime on the 23rd, he will start that parenting time. So he'll be picking up from me. He'll have the 24th eve or the 23rd evening, all of Christmas Eve until Christmas Day at 10 a.m. So they wake up at his house. Then at 10 a.m., I will pick them up. And then I have till the 26th or the 27th because it's confusing. Nobody wants to do all this. Like, right? Like that's the point I'm making. Like nobody wants to do all this. So it's like, okay, then I have them, right? And then we resume the regular schedule thereafter. And the additional point that I was making to you when I said Richard's son doesn't want to do that either is that like even though let's just roll with this and say my kids just love me so much and they want to be with me every single moment of the day. Remember, it was just Christmas. They just literally woke up and Santa came and they opened all these presents and they got all this stuff and these toys and they like ate egg bake and monkey bread, right? And whatever. And now it's like, okay, now let's get in the car and drive for 35 minutes and leave all your stuff. Even though they're going to get new stuff. Like no child actually wants to do that, right? So doing an exchange on the actual day, I would say knowing what I know now and being a little older and wiser. And I also think it depends on the dynamics between you and your co-parent. Like if you're in a toxic situation, doing an exchange on the day might not be something you stick with forever either. And that's the point I'm making. So if there was any way you could just deflect it off to like let your child wake up that day, have Christmas the whole day, and then exchange the next day, that might be better for the both of you, right? Because where people aren't super warm and fuzzy, it seems like those are the situations where having exchanges during the day don't go well. Um, there's just like a lot of tension and anxiety. So that would be my 2 cents. So to remedy that would be making that firm proposal, which is like, here's what I'm telling you is a solution. Check yes or yes by X date, right? And like, maybe give an option, but like, I would just say anything you can do to deflect and push off that 9 p.m. exchange, I would do.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's what I was thinking because there's also, I think I brought this up last week because apparently I also get New Year's
Hmm.
on odd years. And so essentially I have both Christmas and New Year
Hmm.
this year. I'm pretty sure he's not going to be happy with it. Um,
Give him New Year's. So do you got like a piece of paper? Or you can get the replay of this and listen to it again and write it down later. Say, hey Richard, um, I noticed a couple things. I know we have a temporary parenting time deal going on, temporary parenting plan. Um, and we're coming up to Christmas and New Year's, and I noticed some things in there that they're just not going to work. They're not going to work for me. And I actually don't think they're going to work for you either. So I want to make a different proposal. And I want to just say, like, I know we put this in place, but I think there's some growing pains in coming to agreements and to figuring out what's going to work for us that had us make some decisions that just aren't, they're not optimal. And I want to like optimize this for me, for you, for everybody involved. So to that end, I'm proposing. So I here's what we have. I have Christmas from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. And since I have, him the day before, really I've got, the whole week all the way through Christmas at 9 p.m., which is a super weird time to do an exchange, right? Wouldn't you agree? I don't know what we were thinking, so weird, right? And then but I also have New Year's this year on odd years. And I don't think that was really thought out either. Like I think what we intended was maybe to have things work out a little differently, right? So to that end, here's what I'm proposing to fix it. And I think this is going to be best for everybody, right? Because kiddo's not going to have to exchange at 9 p.m. after all those sweet Ninja Turtle toys, right? And you're not going to miss out on both holidays. So I'm going to propose that I have whatever day all the way up until the 26th, and we're going to exchange on the 26th since like nobody's going to be at work at, I don't know, pick a time, 10 a.m., noon. Like do it early in the day, right? And then you have until the next day at 7 o'clock, and there you go, there you have it. I've preserved your day. And then you take New Year's, unless you have New Year's plans. But like, can you give him New Year's? Just give him New Year's in order to get Christmas. Because that's probably what was supposed to happen. And like it just didn't work out that way. Because it's very common that one person has Christmas and one person has New Year's.